Hello everyone, it is Good Friday and we are not missing a beat with our Farm Fact Friday. And today I'm back live in the barn, and actually we're going to spend some time today talking about the difference between hay and straw. Now you probably hear some of the terminology that's pretty common, like let's go on a hay ride in the fall time, when the pumpkins are out and it's a little bit chilly, and to have some apple cider. So you hear the term hay ride. You may also hear things like hay loft or hay mow, which are places that you can store the hay. So I just want to take a minute to tell you the difference between hay and straw, because when you see these items, even though you call it hay, it may be actually straw. So let's kind of differentiate the two, and I actually have samples to show you the difference. So hopefully you can tell on the video here what those differences look like. So first let's talk about hay. But I'm curious too, before we start there, where you guys store your hay or straw. I'm curious to know what you call it. So growing up, we always called it a hay mow. In some of my research, people call it a hay loft. So in the comments below, just kind of let us know what you call the place where you store your hay and straw, and we can see if there are regional differences and start a conversation that way. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about was hay. So this is hay, and I'll get it as close as I can. If you can see in there, hay is full of nutrients. So this is used to help feed animals. And what happens is the alfalfa and clover, for example, are mowed down, and then that product is allowed to dry, and then it's baled up, for example, so that it can be fed to animals. It's very important that it is dry before it is baled, because it can combust and turn into a fire. So very important that hay is dry before it goes into the mow. But as you can see, this is kind of older hay, but in a fresh cut of hay, you can see lots of seeds, lots of green, very, very nutritious for animals. So that's the value in hay. The next thing that we will look at is straw. So as you can tell, it's yellow, a golden yellow color. It's dry. So straw is very useful for bedding animals. So when we, have them in their pens, it's very important that they're comfortable and dry, and straw does a great job of that. There's not a whole lot of nutrition in that, but it is very useful for bedding. Now, straw comes from the byproduct of after you combine wheat. So right now, in some of the fields, you may notice blankets of green. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's wheat specifically. There are other cover crops out there, but right now, the wheat that is planted is a very green blanket over the fields. And I'll post a picture in the comments after I'm finished here to show you what that wheat field looks like. So through the summer, you'll start to see those fields turn golden, and you'll start to see the heads of the wheat drop, and then it'll be time to combine. So you'll see lots of combines in the field in the summertime, and you have two options after combining. You can combine and chop all this up, and it just stays on the field for nutrients to get back into the ground, or you can leave it long cut, and that is when farmers go in and make windrows so that it's in line for a baler, which makes the square bales, which I'm leaning on. So got square bales, which we put up in the mow so that we can bed our animals. So the great thing about straw is that it's just a byproduct of after we have harvested the wheat. So that's a great way to use it if you have animals that need bedding. So next time you are on a hay ride, you may want to just check out the bale that you're sitting on. If it's not green and full of seeds and lots of different roughage, it's probably not hay that you're sitting on, it's probably straw. So, you know, a little bit of technicalities for within the farm, but they're important differences. And hay, you know, those hay fields, they get mowed and baled, and then you do like a first cut and a second cut. Lots of details that go into hay. And like I said, straw is just a byproduct of the wheat crop that's out there. So hopefully today's farm fact was educational for you. I would love to know what you call the area in your barn where you put your hay or straw. And if you have any other interesting things that you would like to know about being down on the farm, let me know and we'll see how we can make that happen. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday, a very blessed Easter, and we'll check you next week for another Farm Fact Friday. Take care.